favorite ones, and he's going to ask the most hurtful ones he can possibly find.
All
so
right.
make sure to make them dig real deep.
All right.
But today, in this second match on Versus Live, we are continuing our exploration of different control variants. Everyone knows the Esper control decks. At this point, everyone knows the disinformation campaign decks that I talked about in a lot of my articles and stuff.
Just saw the Jeskai control deck.
Yep, a Guillaume Wafu Tapa Jeskai control deck featuring Revitalize as one of the early card draw spells, and it looked very good. I'm going to say that.
And now we have more of a, how do I put this delicately, fringe control deck.
I love putting quotation marks around Ross's words. That was
fringe.
Fun. Yeah, so I am playing something I can only really call counter burn. I mean, I'm sure, we have Izzet control. Yeah, it's counter burn. Now, counter burn is an archetype that's not a real archetype. This is a type of a deck
that is fringe archetype.
It's been around the block for decades where people just play, some fireball thing after countering all of your opponent's stuff.
This is just one of those decks that anytime something remotely close to it gets printed, everyone asks, can we build a counterburn deck? Can we build a counterburn deck?
Yeah.
It was like, that was mono black control for a long time, and then everyone got their wish, and we got mono black devotion, and they hated it.
Yeah.
And counterburn is just one of those other things. I think there's so many people that have fond memories of Prophetic Bolt for some reason.
Well, that's because it's gas.
Yeah, it's a gas card.
Dude,
do you not mean Willie Edel's cryptic explanation for the Eldest Reborn Prophetic Bolt?
Yeah.
No, I mean actual Prophetic Bolt, which is almost 20 years old at this point.
Shut up. Just stop making me feel old. I got a Prophetic Bolt in the first booster box I ever opened. I was like 13. That was 19 years ago.
Yeah. That's why.
Anyway, so the deck is centered around this spell right here, Inescapable Blaze. And if you've never seen that card, it's because it's like a good draft card, I guess, right? Because it's just a fireball that's uncounterable and it's instant speed. And usually fireball is like 6 mana, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm asking the limited guy because I don't draft.
The limited guy, Brad Nelson.
What highest limited win or top 5 highest limited win percentage in 2016? If I'm not mistaken.
No, top 8. Top 8. Yeah, I took 8th in the Draft Master race in 2016.
Nice.
Well, the answer is I cannot give that information because I have a Pro Tour coming up and I give nothing.
Okay, so I'm
or
pretty
I
sure.
don't know the answer.
Pretty sure,
one or the other.
Pretty sure if you open Inescapable Blaze in your first pack of Guilds Limited, you should take it because it's a pretty sweet removal spell for large creatures, but also can just kill your opponent. And
disregard everything Todd's saying right now.
And it says, this spell can't be countered. That also seems pretty good. So this version of Izzet Control is going to be basically focused on killing a lot of small stuff, getting in some chip damage with things like Ionize, throwing burn spells at the face against control like Lightning Strike and Shock, but also using those as ways to check smaller creatures to buy us enough time. And then we're just going to try to fight with Fire You or Inescapable Blaze You. And I don't think it's going to work.
But we're going to try.
We're going to try. If we went 5-0 in the Magic Online League, we're going to try.
Well, I am going to be playing one of the sweeter decks I think exists in this format. It is a Gruul Experimental Frenzy deck. Virtually mono green as opposed to the more red Frenzy decks, but it does that so it has a lot of ways to generate extra mana to utilize with Frenzy. We've got Llanowar Elves, Druid of the Cowl, Wayward Swordtooth, and Treasure Map, all of which generate extra mana. So when you untap with a Frenzy on the battlefield, I mean, you can just draw 3 or 4 cards a turn.
Yeah, even if you're not actually drawing or playing spells off the top, a lot of times you get value out of things like Wayward Swordtooth, where you play an extra land. You can remove the top cards of your deck that are bad with things like Treasure Map. I think it's a really sweet engine to build around, and it's something that hasn't gotten a lot of exploration because it's not one of the guilds yet.
Yes.
Gruul is not currently a guild.
Yeah, which is why you really needed to just splash and go nearly mono 1 color because you don't have a lot of dual lands, a lot of mana fixing there. The deck is virtually mono green. We're playing Steel Leaf Champion. So you still have that option, that route to go, where you're just a Llanowar Elf, Steel Leaf Champion, beat them in the face. So they have to be wary of that while being wary of
2
really
Galta
powerful.
too?
Yep, 2
Gas.
Galta, 2 Manic
Bane
Bane Fires to sink all that extra mana into. We got some Carny Boys in the sideboard.
I can't win. This matchup's going to be so bad. He has so many things that are uncounterable and gigantic, and my burn spells are just not going to kill them.
Well, you're just going to have to send him at the face.
You know what? I'm down with that. All right.
Let's see what I got. Oh, we have to roll dice. You want to
Do
take?
we?
You want to take odds again?
Well, I got them all. I have no land.
Sure.
All right. Sure. I'll take odd again. 5, 6.
And a 1.
All right. I lose again.
Well on my way.
All right. Any questions for us while I'm mulliganing Bradley?
Not many. I'm talking to. I'm going to say Avalanche.
Sure.
That's a word.
Is talking about wanting to hear what we have to think about the control list from Columbus and saying he's been doing very good in game ones with it. I do believe that is Andrew Jessup's list of Grixis control.
Yes.
Personally, I think that Syncopate should never be alongside Nicol Bolas. That was an eyesore when I saw it. Tapping out in the mid game with cards like Syncopate doesn't really work.
I mean, I agree to an extent. I think that just having a catch-all on turn 2 is really important because on the draw, being able to counter a creature or a History of Benalia is so good. Even in some matchups, being able to counter a Sarkin Fireblood on turn 2 when you're on the draw is really sweet. I mean, as the games go longer, yeah, Syncopate's gonna look pretty bad. And if you ever need to tap out or mostly tap out on like 6 for a Nicol Bolas and have 2 mana up, Syncopate is not the counter you want. You want either Essence Scatter or Negate or Disdainful Stroke. But it's just so versatile in the early turns that I think you just need to play Syncopates.
That's a really good answer.
Thank you.
Other than that,
I'm so used to that person just coming back at me with some mean thing.
Well, I don't see the reason. I don't need to stoop to Ross Merriam levels.
I finally found 2 lands. I am not going to mulligan to 5. I don't care what Twitch chat says. I'm gonna keep my hand.
Okay, well, my hand's pretty good. I'm on the play.
I'm scry. I think we just need lands, even though Syncopate is pretty good.
I got my Mondo combo all set up here.
All right, your turn. Was it
what is the combo?
Wayward Sawtooth plus Experimental Frenzy? Is that the?
What? Can you not see the combo, Brad?
He can't.
Just looking over.
Move it over a little bit more.
Up.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Pound.
Okay.
Is it Mountain plus
Steely Champion?
Yes, Mountain plus Steely Champion.
Good thing I also drew a 3rd forest. So
yikes.
Pass the turn.
And I'm dead.
No lava coils over there?
No, your turn.
Okay, mash you for 5.
I'm at 15.
Play a Druid of the Cowl.
I'm actually going to sabotage that because we need to fill our graveyard. I don't think I want the land.
Okay, and I'll play Mountain and a Crawl Harpooner.
Sure.
You can go. This puts Todd on a 2-turn clock.
All right, I'm going to shock your Harpooner and say go.
Okay. Attack you for 5.
I'm at 10.
So
that's a big boy.
Todd, I have a question from Brad Nelson.
Oh, nice.
When are you going to deploy either the counter or burn strategy?
I just deployed the counter. What? Look, I gotta find my.
I'm gonna go for the frenzy now, even though I'm pretty sure it's getting countered.
All right, I have to put Ionize in the graveyard now so that I can Beacon Bolt his Steely Champion.
Oh, that's not good.
All right, we're gonna Beacon Bolt your Steely Champion for 5. And play my land. Your turn.
Yeah, I got a little hate.
I've already played. It was already in play. It was stupid. What, you just drew land, now you're dead? Where's your Regisaur Alpha?
Is
your hand like just fire to fire and Banefire, or Banefire me for 4?
10 right now.
I'm at 10.
do.
Crawl Harpooner.
Yeah.
You can go.
All right, I will. I think I have to Bacon Bolt that. That's what I've been calling it, by the way, is Bacon Bolt. But I don't really want to discard this land, but I think I have to. Your turn. It counts itself from the graveyard too, which is kind of cool.
Go.
I did not know that. I think.
Oh wait, I don't know if it does. I think it's like the Golgari Grave Troll thing, where when you dread return it, it counts itself. Because I don't actually know though. When it's on the stack, maybe not. Go.
It sounded smart as you said it though.
Yeah, I know it counts itself when it's in exile. Maybe it doesn't count itself in the graveyard.
Go.
What? You're just gonna fireball me in a second? Just shut up.
You're at 10.
Light 90 is saying that it does not count itself.
Whatever.
And so is 5 to 10 other people.
Fine. Well, once it's exiled, it still counts.
Wayward Swordtooth.
Yeah, we're gonna bin it.
You can go.
Probably should keep it, but all right. Search for a Scanta. Your turn.
That's a good card.
I agree. I've had it for like 3 turns. Just waiting to sabotage something. Like your chances of ever winning a match against me.
Pass.
All right. Trigger. We'll keep it. Draw it. Say go.
Jadelight Ranger.
Trigger on the stack. I'm gonna shock it.
Sure.
So I actually want to pause the game. I
can go to the graveyard.
Yeah, sure. All right. Pause the game. Pause the game for what?
I have a very interesting question, and I want
stay on
Todd's advice on this.
Okay.
With search or surveil, any way to look at the top and put in the graveyard, you just kept a jumpstart card in your hand.
Yes.
Because of jumpstart, do you want that because it can be cast twice with search for Scanta? Because there's also the idea that the top card of your library could also just be a Chemist's Insight, but you would not be able to jumpstart it. It's an interesting one for me. Now, if you were under any pressure, I could see it being a different question. But is this an option? Sometimes you're going to want to do it one way or the other.
I mean, there are definitely spots where you want to do one over the other. Like I put Chemist's Insight into the graveyard when I'm very specifically digging for something proactive that turn. Like if my opponent has like Experimental Frenzy in play, I would just put Chemist's in the graveyard looking for like a Teferi or some way to deal with it. When I'm playing Crackling Drake, I'd be looking for that. But in this scenario, I just need raw resources. Like I need to make sure I hit my land drops. I need to find counter spells for later. And there's a chance that I should just put this in the graveyard and try to draw like an Ionize.
Especially because you have search for or you have a Scanta flipped.
Right. No, and that's definitely a good point because I literally just chose to Scanta instead of Chemister, so I probably should have put it in the graveyard. So, all right, I found an inescapable blaze. Go.
Treasure map.
It will resolve.
Pass the turn.
I'm gonna burn you.
14.
It's probably not right, but
That's what your deck does.
It's what my deck does. You aren't wrong. Your turn.
End step. Let's bottom that. Upkeep.
Scry again.
Yep. Frenzy.
I will, in response. I don't know if I kind of want to hit land drops here too. And whenever you're wanting to hit land drops with search, like it's sometimes better to cast Chemisters instead of using search. But I actually just kind of hate this interaction, honestly. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna Chemisters in response.
Sure.
Frenzy resolves.
Land.
Yes.
Go.
Lightning strike you.
I'm at 11.
This is a fun and interesting race.
Go. Is it good? I'm going to ionize that. Put you to 9.
Okay.
Bottom.
Yep.
You get some treasures.
Transform this.
Some Rhino over turf treasures. And I think I'm just going to die next turn to his Banefire in hand, if I'm not mistaken. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Pass.
9, 10, 11. Yep. I will discard a Fiery Cannonade to Chemisters and draw 2.
Yep.
Flashbacks.
Fire! Who's the Fireball deck now?
Show him, Russ. Show him.
Show me the Banefire!
Show him.
Show me the Banefire! Show it to me! I need this in my life! Woo!
Todd, just so you know, it was there.
Good.
Yeah.
You're not even going to show me?
And I had a joke ready and everything. Is your deck called Counterburn because it couldn't counter the burn? and you ruined it by winning. Well, anyway, that was game one. We're going to let the boys get their sideboarding ready, and we'll be right back. If you have any questions for them, cue them up right now, and we'll be talking about them after this short break.
And we're back here for sideboarding with Gruul Frenzy against Izzet Control. On my side, I have some very clear anti-control cards in Carnage Tyrant and Banefire that will be coming in here. I'm cutting some of my low end and Crawl Harpooner. Card just doesn't do a whole lot in this matchup. Easily gets swept up by all of Todd's removal. I'm cutting both of my Galtas. We saw one get stuck in my hand in game one. This is not a card you want against heavy disruption decks. This is the card you want when everybody's going to get to do their own thing, and this just goes over to the top of what they're doing. And I'm actually cutting a Vivian Reed, which is normally great against control decks, but I think against this specific control deck, where Todd actually has inevitability with the burn spells, I don't want to play cards that are strictly grindy the way Vivian Reed is. I have plenty of cards that can grind with Experimental Frenzy, and then cards that are difficult to answer and end the game on my side, which is how I need to approach the matchup.
Yes.
So I'm cutting the Vivian, bringing in one extra Vine Mare. I do have fourth of my sideboard, but I just didn't have anything else that I wanted to cut for it. So I think we'll make do with three. And I do think Vine Mare is better than Nullhide Ferox because it doesn't get in the way of my Bane Fires or Experimental Frenzies.
Yeah, I think that tension is definitely something. I think Nullhide is basically only in the board to bring in against like Nicol Bolas Ravager / Disinformation Campaign decks.
Yeah.
Because it does turn off a lot of your stuff. From my side, we have some options here. Like we can bring in a bunch of 2-mana counterspells and negates and essence scatters to help stop things like Experimental Frenzy, Treasure Map, with negates, and Essence Scatter counters like most of his creatures. The problem is, as Ross has shown, he's bringing a lot of things that are uncounterable. So I don't want to change my deck too much. I think Cannonade can definitely be cut. And then I'm actually not sure if I should be cutting Shock or not because it does clean up Lenore Elves on the first turn. But it is the weakest card in my deck, I think, overall. And I think I want to go a little bit ham on Ross with Electromancer to try to basically burn him out before Carnage Tyrant becomes a problem. And I think the easiest way to do that is just cut some shocks. We'll see how it goes.
Makes sense. What do we got over there, Bradley?
All right.
Nothing?
We don't have a lot,
Brad's
but
taking a nap.
MTG Tolab, asks, I'm covering my face, I'm embarrassed to say it, what is Ross's favorite type of salt?
So fancy, I don't know if y'all are aware of how much of a thing fancy salt is.
I know.
Yeah, but it's a really big thing, and I've never really gotten into it. I have a big container of sea salt, but not like Himalayan sea salt or Malden sea salt.
I actually use Himalayan salt.
Yeah, so you're a bigger salt hipster than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I think actually I know there's this one particular vintage of salt that I think is classic Ross Merriam, and that is the Prize of Progress Fire Blast salt from the P. Sully match in 2012. That particular salt is delicious.
I think it's oversalted. I'm like, this food needs a little salt, and then it's too oversalted. I can no longer enjoy it.
Yeah.
Personally,
agreed. I'll be on the play.
Oh, a really good question real quick before the game starts. A very good on-topic question. Ranting Bob asks, how did the Jeskai match go?
Yeah.
Excellently.
Hey, yeah. Jeskai
it was very entertaining. I would recommend watching it.
Yam Wafutapa.
Ooh,
Smart,
clipped by
smart
Danny Gambit. I need this in my life. The wind-up from Todd.
Dude, every time I knock on my deck in the Versus series, it's there. It's there every time. It's been there with Fire multiple times.
My hand's a little slow, but pretty powerful, and I think I'm going to keep.
Okay, my hand needs some lands, but I'm keeping it for sure.
I will start on a treasure map.
Yikes.
Pass turn.
Can't beat that one. Your turn.
So now I'm in an awkward spot where I don't have a third land.
Yes! But you have a good 3-drop.
If I scry towards it, then I can't cast a 3-drop, so I think I'm just going to go for it.
Always.
No, stop. Knock it.
Simon! No! Hold on, no!
Worst possible.
You had to knock it and it would have been a land.
You gotta hit it hard, dude. You know what? I'm just gonna burn you. 17. That's what my deck does. Go. I got a check for your treasure map now, boy. I'm gonna counter that and deal you 2 damage.
15. You can go.
Man.
Oh,
I
counter
feel-
burn. I
Yes.
get it.
Your turn.
Upkeep scry.
Actually, I'm gonna play this.
Keep it. Sword tooth.
All right, I'm gonna counter that. I will say go.
Draw.
Yeah.
Sword tooth.
Sure.
Timber gorge.
Yeah.
Pass the turn.
Oh,
Wait,
what?
Ross.
What?
Oh, never mind. All
All right, we're
I'm
gonna draw
getting ahead
2
of myself,
cards.
sorry.
Would you like to flip your thing while I'm tapped out?
Yes, because that gets me the city's blessing.
Yes.
Nice.
I don't think I want this. I have plenty to do with my mana, and I think I can find better things. And I get 3 Rhino over turfs.
True. All right, I will. I'm gonna go searching. I'm gonna find a Scantle one of these days. Your turn. Where's Swartooth looking pretty stout right now?
Attack you for 5.
I'm at 15.
It is a big dino.
Do not play Carnage Tyrant. Do not do it.
I suggest doing so.
Okay, if you have it, do it because I can't win if you do.
Experimental frenzy.
That will resolve.
Did not expect that. Treasure map.
Yeah, I mean, I use my early counter spells on stuff that I didn't have removal for.
I haven't played a land yet.
I don't think
Yeah.
so. And you also get 2 lands.
Ooh, that's 1. That's 2.
Nice. Top card of 3 drop.
That's another ramp.
Nice. Next card of 1
Land
drop.
elves? Yeah.
Huh. All right.
You can go.
I'm gonna draw 2 cards.
It's a good magic card.
Eternal Frenzy's so stupid. I could have just fireballed this with an Inescapable Blaze, but
I even liked that you tapped your map, or you tapped your
sorry,
flipped map,
hold on.
Yeah.
because
Go.
you knew you'd use all your mana.
Just gonna put this in the graveyard.
Well,
and flip
also
this
drawing
thing.
cards when you have experimental frenzy on the battlefield is not the best. You got 7 over there?
Yeah, I had to bend the Ionize to get it.
Okay.
I could have also Field of Ruined, but I thought I might need my mana. Your
Ooh,
turn.
they're saying you might have played an additional land. You
Who,
started
Ross?
the turn with a land.
Did I?
All right, so the elf goes on top and then a land on top of it. I'm gonna always trust Twitch chat when it comes to playing extra lands.
Hold on.
Just
They also
trust.
thought Phoenix was supposed to live in the first game, to be honest.
Well, I think they were wrong on that. We just didn't say what we were doing exactly. So you need to put elf here and then a mountain here.
No, I had 7 lands when I started that turn. Because the turn I played when I played Frenzy,
You just played Frenzy that turn.
yeah. So I played Frenzy, and I knew that if I played Frenzy, I'd have to sack a treasure to play Vine Mare. So I knew I had 7 lands. But would I play a land into Frenzy? Is that what they're saying?
Garib does say that,
Land Frenzy?
we really have to trust them because they do have a 100% track record.
So
Twitch chat.
So that means I played land map elf. So that would mean I have land map elf on top.
Okay.
Should I just shuffle my deck?
No.
But then I just know what the order of my
That's
deck
fine.
is for the next 4
But
cards.
they're not good, so I'm fine with it.
So I do have. Then I can scry on the end step with this.
Yes, that is true.
And put that on the bottom, and then draw this one or look at this one, and I guess I want to draw first because that's scry during the whole thing. Then we'll start with an elf this turn.
Okay.
Play first land,
Mm-hmm.
second land, so no more lands. Well, now I have a sword tooth, so maybe more lands.
I might counter that. I think I'm gonna. I only have to pay 2. Sabotage it.
Sure.
I'm gonna put Syncopate in the grave. I think it's past Syncopate time.
Okay, another line of werewolves.
Sure.
Another line of werewolves.
Sure.
Another sword tooth.
Yikes. And this is the power of Frenzy in this deck. Just going ballistic.
Good?
Yeah.
So now I get an extra land because of that sword tooth.
Yep.
And can't cast that one.
you can attack for 5.
Attack for 5.
Yeah, I'm at 10.
10. Pass the turn.
All right, I'm gonna activate Ascanta. What are you at?
I'm at 15.
Ugh. All right, well, we're definitely taking 5 with fire. And all the top 4 cards of my deck were really good. I think I just have to like jump and go for the kill next turn. Okay. Go.
On your Incept Scry.
Sure.
Oh.
We knew that one. Now let's look at this one.
Actually, I'm gonna play Island over Steam Vents. I got enough untapped lands.
On my upkeep, I will scry.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I'm dead to Banefire no matter what. I'm dead to a shock, basically.
so I've got 6 treasures.
Yep.
Scry that to the bottom. Draw, or look at this. That one's fine. Attack you with these sword tooths.
Look at the top.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll block one. Just fireball me for a million.
5. Blow this frenzy up.
I might have a response to that.
Sure.
No, it's fine. Whatever.
Okay. Apply land. 6, 10, 13, 16. Banefire for 15.
All right. I'm at negative.
Negative 10.
A lot. No, I'm at 5 live.
Yeah, so you're at negative 10 because I Banefired for 15 and you're at 5.
Sure.
I will say it might not be as exciting as Todd's kill last game, but it is more output.
Fine. I was really close to killing you, though.
Yeah, so was I last game. I think that's how these games go.
You didn't even play Carnstar.
Yeah, I scryed it to the bottom. Didn't have 6
Alright.
mana to spare. Need to Banefire you.
Well, I have to say that game got really out of hand. Well,
Yeah.
Ross cast cards out of his hand.
Yeah. It got out of hand when he cast Experimental Frenzy, for sure.
Yeah, Experimental Frenzy forces you to play out of away from your hand.
That's
That's the joke.
Yeah.
Is that the joke?
that is the joke.
Well, you made the reverse joke where it got out of hand once we got back to being out of my hand. But then there's the out in terms of outside of your hand. There's a lot of ways that joke can go, Brad.
Look, Ross won a game. Just let him have it. Just, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's not like you have any choice. This isn't an option that you get when you walk in the room.
Now I'm just getting requests. Nick Jagger's like, Brad, do the joke about counter burn. Oh, yeah, because you can't counter the burn. Boom.
I think I have flipped Scan to the Sunken Ruin in my
Light
in my
90
deck.
asks, how many times has Brad and Siggy played a match against each other in a competitive event? And I believe it was once, maybe.
I've only played Siggy one time. I played him twice in the same Grand Prix once.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, he was my only loss in Grand Prix Richmond. They beat me twice.
Somebody, Tilted Mac is asking Ross, why is he not playing Street Riot for real? But isn't Street Riot the like +1/+0 or what is Street Riot?
I also don't know what Street
Yeah,
Riot is.
I'm just gonna say I don't know. Whatever.
Director.
Look, half the
But
time,
we still can't see
half the
it.
time when someone's like,
As long as it's your turn, creatures you control get +1/+0 and trample 4 in a row.
yeah, that's not a magic card.
I mean, it is, but it's not a good one.
This is not what I'm trying to do. Like, yeah, I've got a bunch of big creatures, and giving them trample would be nice, but I'm winning by gaining a huge resource advantage, not by getting a bunch of creatures down and attacking. I can, but that sort of what?
Is that-
Got some great art though.
Wait, is there like a salt mine on it? Are we getting trolled? And it's like they're just going mining.
Get to start on some Llanowar Elves. Is it dying? Ooh, Electromancer. Now I'm actually really
You
scared.
should be very scared, sir.
I'm gonna play a Steel Leaf Champion
Yeah,
and pass the turn.
wish you hadn't done that. I will bounce this. Attack for 2.
18.
Go.
Electromancer can become very scary on turn 2.
Oh yeah, dude, it's one of my favorite cards in the standard format for real. Not for play. Yeah, I do not care about that card. Kind of care about that one for tempo purposes. I can just get to attack you. All right, counter it. You're at 16. Whoop! Nice. Attack for 2.
14.
Go.
Upkeep scry.
Yeah.
Keep that.
Yeah. Dude, scrying sucks. You just always keep it. It's always the best.
Seal of Champion.
I'm gonna count it. Put you to 12.
Anywhere else.
Yep.
Pass. Getting tempoed out.
Yeah,
Attack
this
for 2.
is
10.
I
Selectromancers.
will-
Putting in way too much work.
Main phase of chemisters. I'll play a search for a Scanto. Shields are down, Ross. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna draw for this turn to try to find a Carnage Tyrant rather than Scry on upkeep.
Cool.
I found an okay card.
Banefire, got an Electromancer. Yes.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
play a Jade Light.
Okay. Grave.
Graveyard for that one. Graveyard for that one.
Nice.
And then I will play another map
Okay.
and pass the turn.
All right. Top card with a Scanta. Ooh. All right. We're gonna keep it.
Maybe I'm supposed to scry first with a map. I
All
really
right,
wanted to
I'm
find
going
another land
to-
drop.
Chemisters. Discarding a Bacon Bolt.
a bacon bolt.
So I call it, baby. And then going to wait. I don't want to discard. I may have made a mistake. Should have just cast Bacon Bolt. Yeah, whatever. All right, discard Sabotage. Kill this. Attack for 2.
I'm at 8.
Go.
Interesting play.
I'm gonna put a counter on this so I can hopefully flip both maps on the same turn. And I'm pretty sure I need to find something to contain this Electromancer.
Just double block it. Ever.
Especially with me at 8. Like I if I go to 6, I'm in range of the 6 damage spell.
Inescapable Blaze.
Yeah, that's the one. So now I'm gonna upkeep and just have to bin a Carnage Tyrant.
Shouldn't you do the force in case you draw a Banefire because you might want to Banefire this?
That's true. I was thinking of Frenzy that I definitely didn't want to cast. That's fine. We'll bottom that mountain and now activate this one. Bottom that 3rd land in a row.
Nice. 4th land in a row. Double nice. Or Druid of the
Now
Cow.
I will play another map.
Sure.
Pass the turn.
All right. Scanta. I'm going to put Electromancer in the grave. Draw. All right. Attack.
Double block.
Yeah.
For 4 damage. Scry with this 3rd map.
Okay.
And I'll leave that on top.
All right. Play my land for turn. I will say go.
Okay. Well, we have a card on top that we wanted. And now scry that land we definitely don't want. Let's get 3 treasures. Then I think I should just cast it now so I don't waste any treasures because I can just transform these later. So I'll play a Carnage Tyrant, sacrificing 2 of them.
Okay.
Pass the
I'm
turn.
going to burn you for 6.
I'm at 2. Probably dead. Yeah, that Electromancer put in too much work.
All right. So how much? I'm not dead next turn if you find Banefire, right? Because you can
No.
scry. Okay. Well, you're putting me at 13, and you can make 6 treasures for 2 mana. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's 9,
So
yeah.
it's close.
Yeah, it's 4 short. I
Okay.
definitely... You're definitely seeing a lot of cards here.
I guess I'll just lightning strike you. I just really wanted to 10 you again.
Eh,
Eh,
Electromancer
well.
against my draw is just full of maps.
dude,
Yeah,
I've been.
You did really draw a very awkward.
Yeah. Actually, it was the Electromancer and then the bounce spell and the champion. Because if I was able to actually get pressure going and force Todd to be a little bit more defensive, it would have been a lot easier.
Yeah, I've been well in matchups like this, and in particular, just matchups that don't have like a lot of removal. I've been so impressed with Electromancer out of like control deck sideboards. Like I've been trying it in things like Jeskai Control, and it's been pretty good. A lot of people are playing Legion Warboss, and I think that costing 3 instead of 2 might actually just make it worse than Electromancer. But
Oh no.
what?
Scooter 222 with what it seems like a lot of Todd faces. Are you on Twitch now?
Yeah, I stream.
Your face? Well, I know
Yeah.
you stream,
Yeah,
but
he
I
has,
have
he has emotes.
you have emotes now?
Yeah. Dude, is he
Oh,
doing the
no.
crying Todd or the
Roll
Roll Todd?
Todd.
Yeah. I'm not super happy with that emote because the writing is really small in the emote. It didn't come off
Oh
like
yeah,
I
I can't
wanted
even
to.
tell what it says.
So I'm probably gonna change that one, but we got some other good ones too. I got the crying Todd face, like whenever I lose, and there's also Todd Rip, which is X's in my eyes. But I mean, we don't have a Ross Rip, unfortunately. Man, so as you had a bunch of uncounterable spells in that match, right? You had a bunch of
Yeah.
Carny boys, a bunch of Banefires. You just died.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, you kept talking about how this matchup was going to be bad.
I thought it was.
I, a wise human being, understood that your deck was completely built around being able to ignore threats like that with burn spells, and that's what you did.
But 20 is a lot of damage to deal. Okay.
Well, we have to say that your deck had a fail rate in game 3. It wasn't
Yeah.
that
He
powerful.
played a 5/4 on turn 2,
Oh yeah.
and I obliterated him.
Yeah, and you found the right sideboard plan.
Yeah.
Electromancer is very good.
Yes.
And it was very good because it enabled the I can ignore what you're doing aspect of your deck. So like you just played a tempo strategy instead of a hard control strategy.
That's true.
And my deck is filled with things that go super long against hard control strategies, like Treasure Map and Experimental Frenzy and Carnage Tyrant. And you were able to just completely ignore what I was doing and kill me before those things came online.
Funny story. I'm
Okay.
also completely ignoring what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Questions, please.
Yeah, all right. Zerico is asking Todd,
So-
what are your thoughts on blue-red counterburn in a Wizard's Aggro Shell in Standard?
Wizard's Aggro Shell. I mean, that's not really a counterburn deck. That's just a Tempo deck, and I don't think it's that bad. I think the only thing that's hard would be the mana. Some of the creatures are pretty weak. Like Vaishno Pyromancer is one of like the better 2-drops you have access to, but I don't think it's very good just because the body is not super relevant. But I mean, there is a potential to play like a Wizard Retort, Ionize type deck with a bunch of cheap wizards and burn spells. But I don't know. I like this style of deck. Felt really sweet. I'll say that.
It's not that it's when we say counterburn, you have to understand that sits in this hybrid range between tempo and control. So that deck has the capability of playing a control game and sitting there and generating a lot of card advantage with Chemister's Insight and Ral and Search for Escanta. So you're able to do that if your burn spells and your counter spells line up well against your opponent's threats. Then sure, you'll go with that plan. But there are certain matchups where your opponent is very prepared for that kind of game with Carnage Tyrants and Banefires and Experimental Frenzies and Treasure Maps. Then you have the ability to pivot towards a tempo strategy, and Electromancer is in the sideboard to help you do that because those decks tend to be light on removal. And then you're able to just say, okay, I'll counter the threats that I can counter and use my interaction on as early as I can, and then quickly move to trying to end the game.
Yeah.
And that pivot lets you be prepared in a very elegant way against threats that you otherwise would be unprepared for. The other matchup where that pivot is very good and very useful is the Control Mirror,
Yes.
where you're both sitting there and generating lots of card advantage and setting up these counter wars over very important things. But
Like
you have
Teferi.
yeah. But you just have these 4-6 damage burn spells that are uncounterable that will eventually kill them.
Yeah, well, either it'll eventually kill them, or it's just a way to cleanly answer a Resolve Teferi, which, in a lot of spots, like, you'll get into a Control Mirror where both of you wait until you have, like, 9 or 10 mana, and then someone eventually misses a land drop, and they have to bite. Like, if they just start moving to discard, they're probably going to end up losing the game. And so they have to go for a Teferi. They'll probably lose the counter war because they're investing 5 mana into it initially, and they usually only have mana up for like 1 or 2 counter spells. And then whoever is just sitting back on their hands gets to basically win that counter fight, untap, and then have a turn unfettered. And in control based matchups, that is usually the deciding turn of the game when one person bites. But with this Izzet deck, this counterburn deck, like, you no longer lose the game when your opponent resolves a Teferi. And I think that is pretty awesome.
Yes, it is very good, and it's one of the reasons that like Blue Moon in Modern is very good in control mirrors. Is you have more burn spells to throw at your opposing planeswalkers. Jeskai similarly, as opposed to Blue White, so they tend to be good in the control mirrors for the same reason. And that is an important aspect of the card. But you also just have this end game plan that is very different and doesn't require you to navigate the normal tactics of the control mirror where you're setting up to win a counter war. Sometimes you just can't because your opponent has more cheap counters than you do. It's really emblematic of a deep understanding of how Magic works. Like I think the thing that separates players who are just good from players who are great is an understanding that goes beyond the tactical levels of Magic. Most players focus on the tactical side of things. Like somebody has a threat and you find the removal spell that matches up well against that threat. But there are things like Carnage Tyrant where there aren't a lot of answers that work well against it. Sure, there are Wraths, and most control players will just load up on those Wraths to try to beat Carnage Tyrant, Settle the Wreckage, Cleansing Nova, things like that. But you never want to be forced to do that. Sometimes you are, and sometimes that is the best way. Given your situation. But in the abstract sense, in the general case, the best way to solve an issue is on a strategic level and pivoting towards a tempo strategy that is strategically favored against this late game, big mana, important threats and card advantage game plan. Tempo is great against that on a strategic level because you have cheap answers and you're able to close the game quickly with burn spells and your whatever creatures you have before their game plan gets going, and they're able to overwhelm you in card advantage. And so that's why versatility has become so important in Magic over the last few years, because you're able to pivot on a strategic level and not be forced to pivot on a tactical level. And pivoting on the tactical level ratchets up your deck's variance because you're forced to have the right answer at the right time. And sometimes you just don't because of the natural variance of your deck.
Well, I think everything you just said is extremely fascinating and great. And
that's why we pay him the median bucks.
I'd like you to write an article on this soon, just going way more in detail. And that's also not to say I'm thinking of the right word, a rant that would be better in written form.
Yeah.
I would really like to see that article.
I'll send you the article I wrote 5 years ago on StarSeaGames.com. Well, it's the third one I ever wrote.
Okay, I mean, update it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I did at one point.
Sure.
Do it again.
I don't remember the update, but
I don't want to tell everyone this.
The difference between strategy and tactics is something that I think about a lot.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say this out loud, but every year or so there's a topic that I want to update.
Yeah.
So I just write the same article again, but with like.
Dude, I do the same thing, but with Izzet decks.
I think that's important to do.
You do it weekly, though.
Yeah. Once you've been writing for a long time, you can't expect people in your audience to go back and read something you wrote 4 years ago. They have no idea that it even exists.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I would really like that updated, and a lot of people in chat are saying the same thing.
Cool. Well,
Ross with the mic drop actually. No, it was a really good, a really good conversation.
It's a rant that I have practiced. I've given that one many times to many different people. So with the practice, it comes out pretty crisp.
All right. Well, we are on track to be done super early today. So I actually want to play one more game of this tempo deck versus your green.
I don't even think that's true.
Dude, it's not even 3 o'clock yet. We only have one more.
After a 10-minute break, it'll be 3, and then we have Golgari against Control.
Yeah.
We're actually not on track, Todd.
We're gonna give that. Okay, here's what I propose. We'll start the Golgari deck in 10 minutes after we go to break, because that match might take a long time. If it happens to not, even if we go 3 games, then I'm going to let chat vote on whatever matchup of the 6 decks that we have today they want to see bonus content from.
That's actually a great idea. I like that.
I don't know how to make a vote.
A poll.
I
also don't know how to make a poll.
Well,
I say, all right, chat, if you want to watch this match again, press 1. If you want to move on, press 2. And then I just kind of gauge it. Because I don't know how to make.
We'll figure that out during the break.
The very smart, intelligent person.
Straw poll.
Okay, straw poll. That's what I was looking for. We're going to take a quick break here while we prepare for our third match. Please, we need questions. We need content. So ask Brad Nelson at SEG Tour in the Twitch chat questions for us to answer.
Real quick, Todd, I don't know what you're talking about.
Please.
I didn't want to. There were some questions, but like what Ross was saying was better than any questions that could have been answered. Sorry, people that sent the questions. Not recently. I've just got a couple in the end. I have a piece of paper on the
Oh,
ground that
there's
has a
piece of-
bunch. Yeah.
Our director Rob just held up a blank slip, like a blank notepad, and I was just like, "Come on!" But there is a page on the floor. So
I was
I'll
hoping
give
it
him
had
that.
just like a doodle
Yeah.
of the two of us. There's like stink lines coming
Yeah.
off.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back for the third match of Control Day.